you back again for GymAware Power Profiling. We're going to compare the two standard models of coaching. So presently what we have in place is a standard model of coaching. With most good strength coaches will be able to measure certain things. You can measure changes of increases in weight, increases in movement quality, very, very important, increases in reps and improved time for completion for different exercises. Now, up until now, these are probably the things that most of our measures are based around, but more precisely, to have a quantitative measure, there's no real exact measure of precise performance improvement from a quantitative point of view. So with the power profiling with the GymAware kit, what it does show is increases in velocity, in height over multiple modalities using concentric methods, multiple counter movement methods, so involving elastic properties as well. An increase in dip, or the amount of dip that's dropped into an exercise. An increase in absolute power, so to actually have quantitative measurements of power in terms of watts is very, very handy. Increases in power to body weight ratios, an increase in mean power over reps or over multiple sets, increase in mean velocity, so we can now show the wattages and the speeds of different movements as well, and even delay time to fatigue. So it might be the fact that certain power drops off over reps of 20 over a course of a set. So we can actually show when the power actually starts to drop over those as well. So the biggest difference between these two standard models, now there's nothing wrong with the standard model, the qualitative point of view long term is more important, but if we can show on a regular basis that there is quantitative measurements that we can show session to session from a performance point of view, from a recovery point of view, from a load management point of view, that's a very, very handy tool for coaches to have. This is the GymAware software for the iPad. Fantastic. So we'll have a look at an athlete that we've recently done. We'll look at John Millington. We go across and we set up his exercises. Now over here there's a range of exercises. We can add in extra ones if we like, which is great. So there's a range of things we can pick from in here. We go to something like a deadlift, and you can see all the variations in there that we can choose from. Lots of different variations. Let's go back and we'll pick an exercise, maybe step ups on the left. Now, we've already got some options in there from before. The first thing we want to look at is what we want to actually measure. We'll look at peak power for this point in time. We've got a 30 kilo bar. He weighs 80 kilos. We might do 4 sets of 6 reps. So we can get in there and adjust those 6 if we want to. Now, the previous targets that he's had, his last effort was 3,000 loads. So we can get in and maybe adjust a preset in there and have a look and see. Well, let's have a look at, of 85% is the minimum target, which is 2,600 of a 3,100 target. So his previous effort was 3,000. We're aiming for anything over 2,600. Okay, so we've gone through, we've done the measurement, we prepare, we do all the work. Then when we're done, we go back and we have a look at some of the feedback. So if we go up to the top to set up athlete, we can then go back and review over some of his sets and reps, and there they are there. So we can see the bar graph efforts there with all his loads in terms of watts, peak power in terms of watts for the left foot step up. There's his multiple sets, so set number 2, and we can see that that changes with different efforts down there. It shows you averages per set, which is fantastic. We can even look at records at the same time. We want to look at velocity, for instance, in meters per second, and we can see 1.64, 1.63. We can see meters per second there as well, which is great. We want to see something like, which is very useful, watts per kilo. So if we've got an athlete that's heavier, of course, you're going to have a different range. Now, something like this, you're looking at about 40 watts per kilo is pretty good. So some of them he's hitting, he's pretty close on most. Let's have a look at the third set. You can see peak powers for those. Peak powers for multiple things we can see they're doing pretty well. We go back and we can pick all our other exercises and go from there.